Good morning, this is Belinda from Belinda Lee Briggs Web Design. This is a quick video to show you how to add a border to highlight a text block. The first thing you need to do is find the text block you want to highlight. And the way you do that is in the Chrome browser. You right click and you say inspect. You're going to obviously make sure you're on the page. You're going to click on the element selector, and then you're going to highlight the area you're interested in. Now we don't want to just be here because this would create a border just around this section. We want this. Okay, and you can see down below it says div hashtag block UI. That's exactly what we want to target with our code. So we're going to come over here where that area of code has been highlighted. And we're going to grab this ID right in here. We're going to right click. We're going to say copy. We're going to come over to your website and we're going to go from your home panel to design and custom CSS. And we're going to put this little element here, which is required in the CSS to say, hey, go find the block with this ID. And we're going to put the brackets in here, and we're going to start to make the border here. So we're going to say border. We're going to say 2 pixels. We're going to just say the color black for right now. We're going to say solid. There you go. Now, you may say, well, it's kind of tight in here. You know, it makes it look really crowded. So let's add some padding. There we go. I added a little padding in there. So now you're going to say, oh my gosh, look it seems really tight and everything is wrapping. And what I'd say here is to take off that centered element. So we're just going to come in here and we're going to left align everything. And that feels a lot better. You could certainly center step 1 because that's a little bit shorter of an area. The other thing I would say is that, oh, and here I'm going to comment out or add a comment, not comment out. So to make a comment, you use a / and a star. And you say, this code creates a border with something around specific text blocks. And then to tell the processor that your comment is over and now to start processing the code, you're going to do another asterisk and another /. And there you can see your code is now colored again. And it is code, but it's not what we think of when we're coding. We're not making loops or anything like that. And so you can change it. You could make the border bigger. You could change the color to something that's a little more on brand. I use this color picker, page color picker plugin for Chrome. And say we want, a color from in here that's a little less dark. We can come in here and that actually pasted it to the clipboard and we can paste it in there. Now we've lightened up the color quite a bit. Another trick I like to use is to, I think this is the wrong page. Let's head over here for a second. Yeah, I like to come in here and look at other colors. This makes it easier to pick something a little bit lighter if we didn't get anything quite right. And then stay in the same color family because it can be jarring when you're leaving the color family and you're starting throwing in a bunch of disparate colors. So that tool really helps you. That's kind of nice. Lets your text really speak for itself instead of being overwhelmed by the border, kind of pushing the border in the background. Another option would be to actually add a background color to help it stand off the white page a little bit. So to do that, we're just going to come in here and we're going to say background color. And don't forget the little hashtag that's required. Now you're really adding a little bit of a differentiator between the blocks. Okay, so to get this onto the other blocks, and I'm actually going to center these for you. Center and uncenter. Okay, and then we're going to come back in here and we're going to use the inspect tool to get the IDs for the other two color blocks. Okay, that is what we want. I come over here and we can see the ID right there. So to add the other IDs, you just come in here where the first one is. Where it ends, you put a comma. Make sure you put in that hashtag. And then you add the next one. Now we get a little bit of a problem. They're bumping into each other, aren't they? Let's grab that last one. And then let's see what we can do about the lack of space between those. So if we save and we come over here and we refresh, we see it up. We see your nice blocks here. But we want to be able to get rid of that tightness. So let's take a look and see what we can do. Here's all of our code in here. So a couple of things we could do. We could use spacers. And you can see that we don't actually have a margin. Oh, on the outer edge, you can see it's really tiny. See the margin there, that orange on here. When we highlight it, you can see it. So we can actually set the margin. And a little trick here is you can actually play over here. This won't be permanent. But maybe we want to set the margin to 8 pixels. And now we've got some space. So the problem is that what we really want to do is only set the margin on the middle one. We don't want to set the margin on the two side guys because they don't want to have margins. So to make this easier, what we're going to do is grab that second block ID. And we're going to say margin equals, this is the top, this is the right, this is the bottom, this is the left. Let's see if that does. That's the trick. I didn't like that. So another, let's come in here. I didn't have any margin set. We're going to try again. Margin, and this is actually nice. It kind of types ahead for you. Of course, it went away on me here, so let's try again. Margin 0, 8 pixels, 0, 8 pixels, and it's still not adding. So maybe my syntax isn't correct. So let's do margin CSS. And I love W3 Schools. It's a great place to go to figure out what the right formatting to use is. So this is how to set them separately. And I suppose we could do that. And this is how the shorthand is supposed to work. So I have got it written correctly. So the last thing you want to do, and this is really kind of a last resort, is to add the important tag here. It's probably a keyword, not a tag. And we're still not seeing a change Oh, we're still stacked in there. Let's try this. Margin left. Oh, here we go. All right. Margin right. Okay. There you go. That is how you get that formatted. Let's take a peek. Okay. Now, one question I always have is, how is this going to look on mobile? And Chrome gives us this great tool so we can kind of take a peek at how things are going to look when we go mobile. Now, you're going to have some weird spacing on the side of that once you go mobile, which is a little bit rough. So we can code in a little something to say, you know, once we get to the break point where they're stacking on top of each other, let's not do that anymore. And actually, let's instead add a margin to the top and bottom. So let's see where the break point is. And I'm watching this number right here. See where it flips. Oh, that's teeny. Okay, so at about 6:39, we are making the changeover. So we're going to say at and I don't quite remember media queries, so we're going to cheat a little bit here, and we're going to look one up. Media queries. This is where you say check to see how big it is, and then make the change. So we're going to copy this at media only screen and max width. Here we go. So we're going to say at media only screen and max width 639. Maybe we're going to say 640. And we're going to change it. And you notice we get a set of brackets here for the media query, and then another set of brackets here where we're going to put our code. So when the screen jumps down, we're actually going to say, and I'm just going to specify because that seems to be what's working rather than using the shorthand. Now we want that margin to be on the top and bottom instead. So, margin top, margin bottom, margin left, margin right. Let's do a save and a reload. So there we are. We're looking good on the big desktop view. And now when we're in the mobile view, you can see instead of having those side spaces, we have space on the top. Okay, so I hope that helped a lot and it wasn't too confusing. And actually I'm going to jump in here and add a quick note. Set spacing on center block so borders aren't touching. And right here I'm going to say on mobile, set spacing so center block has space on top and bottom, but not left and right. And that way, someday when you come back in here and you wonder what the code is about, you don't have to guess. I also sometimes like to put the page in here. Current use front steps project page. And this may change, so as you come in here and edit, you do want to update your notes to yourself. Otherwise, it does get hard to remember 6 months from now what this was used for. Great. So if you want to change the background color, you're going to change this. And if you want to change the border color, you're going to change this. All right. Hope that was helpful. I'm going to put links in the video below for the web pages I used for the CSS and for the hex colors.